We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live.
Welcome to the Mouthpiece Saturday night NFL Championship weekend. Today we're going to talk about the NFL, my weekend poker, and whatever else you guys want to talk about. Mouthpiece is next. What up, everybody? Championship weekend. Getting ready for some NFL games. Pretty excited and see what's going to happen. What a game. Sorry we're on a little bit late. I just was going to be on at the end of the Laker game. That was like 8 o'clock an hour ago when they went to double overtime. Pretty amazing game. Wow. I can't believe the Lakers missed a free throw in regulation in first overtime and the second overtime. They leave Steph wide open, and somehow LeBron gets to the rack. I don't even understand how he got to the rack, but wow. 36, 20, and 12 for LeBron. Steph, 46 and 7. I mean, wow, what a game, what a game. So, sorry we're on a little bit late. Saturday night edition. We got the a lot of things going on. Poker was amazing last week. Had my biggest winning week I've had in many a years, probably 8 years. So that was really good. But then this week, we went a little bit sideways. So we started off the week. I was sitting 15,600 winner going into 2 days ago. Lost 10K. Then went into yesterday's session and really was a rough one. Was stuck as much as 41 at like 6 in the morning, 5:30 in the morning, 6. And one of the guys at the table was really outplaying me a lot. I mean, he's 3-betting every single hand, raising every single hand. We were playing 3-handed, and I never, ever had a hand. If I called the 3-bet, I just missed every flop, and I mean, didn't even, 3-bet by, and I call with king queen, it comes 5, 7, 8. Call with ace jack, it comes 4, 5, 6. I mean, I just never, ever had even hands to float with or anything. And I was just going down. I went from like 30 loser, 31, 33, 35, 37, 30. I just never went in, playing 3-handed, 4-handed. Mostly 4-handed. I got 3-handed just the last half hour, but just playing 4-handed and never flopping a pair. I mean, I had one guy in the game. He robbed me 2 big pots. I 4-bet to 29.90, and he calls, and I have queens, and it comes 8. There's 6,200 in the pot. Comes ace 8-4. I bet 2,200. He calls. Comes a king on the turn. I check and he bets like 7,000. And I fold and he shows me 6-3 offsuit. So he's 3-betting. We're not taking any phone calls yet, guys. So he's 3-betting the 3-6 offsuit, calling a 4-bet, floating me on the ace 8-4 board. Then another hand. It was during a stand-up round. I make it like 19.99 pre-flop with ace, queen of spades. Comes king 9 deuce, 2 hearts and a club, 4 ways. I can't even c-bet this. So I check. It gets checked around, and turn comes a blank, and the Mr. 3-6 off just bleeds out for like 3K. Everyone folds, and he shows 3-8 off. So you're probably thinking, wow, what a game you're in, Mike. Which, listen, the game was good for a while, and but he was just outplaying. I mean, like, I don't know, how do you call it outplaying? I mean, if I have any, I mean, they have to fucking, he has to hit an ace on both flops, or the one with the kind of, I mean, I don't even get it. So, so I lose like, I don't know, like that's like 20,000 right there. But so it was really rough. They kept robbing me, and it was in spots where I can't even really defend it. You know what I mean? You call a 4-bet pre-flop and call a third to half pot on the flop when the ace hits with no pair, no draw. I mean, what am I supposed to do? When I'm out of position. So that's kind of how I got stuck a lot. I got flush over flush in a 3-bet pot. I opened at like 120, 6-8 of diamonds, got raised to like 599, and the flop came king 10, 3 of diamonds, and I just let out small, and he raises me, and I call. The turn card comes a stiff, I check, and he bets like 1,800, and I just check raise jammed on him like 18,000, which is probably a big mistake. I probably should have just called, but I thought he had like aces with the ace of diamonds, king, ace of diamonds. There was already like 4K in the pot, and I 4x jammed. I don't know. It's probably the wrong thing to do, but so I get stacked flush over flush. It's just in 3-bet pots, it's very hard to think that the guy who 3-bet you flopped the flush also. So that was kind of a mistake I made. I probably should have lost 9 or 10 in the pot instead of 18. So that got me buried, but I then flopped a set the next hand, and I stacked the guy the very next hand. Let's see. And so then I was only down 11, and then I went for my 2 hours straight without winning a pot, and it was a rough night. Anyways, so bottom line is I'm stuck 13,000 for the week going into tonight, which I plan on playing when I watch the tennis. So been watching the Australian Open. I don't know if you guys are tennis fans, so I've been enjoying that, and I had the winner of like the last 3 matches. So it's been fun to watch late at night when you're up late at night, nothing to do. So NFL picks, the Chiefs and the Ravens. All right, so here we go. I have studied this game every which way I could. I've listened to people I respect a lot. And the bottom line is the bet we're going with as our number one bet is Ravens first half. We laid 2.5 minus 120. That's gone now. It's 3. I think money line. I don't know. I wouldn't lay 3 first half. I mean, I'd rather lay money line first half. But I think, the Ravens are 14-5 first half against the spread, winning by an average of 6 points a game. We had them last week against Houston, and the only reason why we lose that first half is because of the punt return. So no punt return, we would have won the first half last week on the Ravens. So we're going Ravens first half as probably our only bet of the week. I might throw a little teaser in there with San Francisco and the Ravens. I mean, I don't think the Ravens could lose. I think they're an all-time great team. The line's up to 4.5 in spots. I think the numbers weight is high, but would it shock me if Kansas City got beat by 20? Not at all. I think this is a all-time great Raven team. Look at the Ravens' losses. They had lost 3 games where they led by a touchdown with the ball inside of 5 minutes in all 3 of their losses and lost the game. This team should be 19-0. This is not Mahomes against the Ravens. This is an all-time great team that facing a team that has struggled to stop the run all year. Their pass defense has been fantastic, but I mean, look what the Bills did to them last week. They just gashed them on the ground. The only reason why the Bills lost is when they didn't get a first down run of seven yards. They just threw it on 2nd and 3rd down. I mean, they just went away from the run. You can't say, oh, Kansas City just started to stop them on the run. No, they didn't. Okay, they were predictable. The Bills ran the ball on 1st down for the last 3 possessions, right? They never went play action and then running on 2nd down. It was always a 1st down run. And when you know you're going to run the ball, they keyed in on it. But I'm going to tell you right now that this is an all-time great team with an all-time great defense that they're not the Dolphins missing 7 defensive starters, and they're not the Buffalo Bills missing 4 defensive starters, including all of their linebackers, so they couldn't get any pressure on Mahomes because they were playing with backup linemen. Watch this week. I mean, watch what Roquan Smith and the other guy does to him. I mean, stop with the Taylor Swift to the Super Bowl bullshit. Give me a break. Okay. There's not enough referees that'll beat an all-time great team. Honestly, I mean, I should have betted at 3. It was 3 minus 20. People I listened to, oh no, the money's gonna come in on Patrick Mahomes. I'm like, no, dude, this is an all-time great fucking team. Dude, you guys, it's 53 men on a roster. There's 11 starters on each side. The NFL is the ultimate team game. One guy can't win anything. Did you see what one guy did against San Francisco in the Super Bowl? I mean, against Tampa Bay when he had no offensive line? His offensive line has been terrible all year. It's looked good the last 2 games because they've been missing half their defense. He's going to be running for his life, Mahomes, and they don't have any receivers. And I don't know. I think the Ravens win 33-13, but that's my opinion. What do I know? So we'll see. You know, people I listen to, they like Kansas City +4. You know, but they like the Ravens first half. Very interesting game. I really I think it could be a low-scoring game. I think it could be a high-scoring game. It could be either way. Stop with the Taylor Swift shit, man. I mean, that's going way down the rabbit hole. The 49ers, I mean, I think Detroit's been a fraud all year, okay? I have called them a fraud all fucking year. So why would I change my mind now? You know what I mean? But the Niners haven't been the same team since the Ravens beat the shit out of them. So, Phil probably will have Kansas City 100%, and he'll have San Francisco because he loves to suck on Mahomes, you know what, and he is a big Frisco fan. But listen, now that Debo says he's healthy, it was only a bruise. Then I think Frisco's going to kill him. I think that they're not very good. Teams, everybody with a pass that can pass the ball has just lit Detroit's back end defense up. But here's the thing: Detroit has a great run defense. So for Frisco to win this game, they're going to have to throw. I mean, I like Purdy over, 260 yards. I mean, everybody throws for 300 against them. I mean, the Rams, I don't know how they lost that game. They threw for 400 and something against them, and I don't even know how they lost that game. I mean, 349 for Baker last week. Any quarterback that can throw the ball has lit up the back end of the Detroit defense. So if you think Frisco's all McCaffrey and running game and Purdy isn't very good, then take Detroit. If you think Purdy's really good, like I do, and he's only had a few bad games, like last week in the weather where he couldn't hold the ball, couldn't grip the ball, I mean, they should have lost, 100% should have lost. Green Bay handed them the game. Then you take Frisco. I think Frisco's going to win. I think they're going to win big. And a lot of the sharps I listen to like Detroit under 22 points. I kind of agree. But I think it's going to be an over game. I think you're looking at, what is the total, you guys? I think like 31-20. I haven't even looked what the total is. Somebody tell me what the total is. You know, people are overreacting to like, oh, they almost lost to Green Bay. Well, they were flat in bad weather, and Green Bay was really hot at the end of the year. So, you know, let's see what is the total in this fucking game, by the way. Here we go. Total 51.5. What did I say? 31-20. 30. There it is. That's 51 right there. I don't know. That total's right on the number, 51.5. Yeah. I think it's going to be 31-21, 30-21, something like that. Detroit might not even score that many. They might not get 17. I mean, thing about San Francisco, teams have been able to run on them. That's the thing. I mean, fucking Aaron Jones went off on them last week. So if Detroit's able to run the ball, you know, I don't know. It could be an under game. It could be like 24-17. It could be. I don't know. I don't know how the Lions are going to win with that back end defense. I really don't. I really don't. I mean, the Rams had them beat. Baker went off on them. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. Detroit against good defenses, they struggled this year. I mean, the Ravens beat them 33-6. The Bears lit them up twice. I don't know, man. I lean to laying the points with Frisco. I do. I ain't laying 7.5, but I would lay 7, I think. I don't know. I'm not going to have a bet. The only bet I got is the Ravens first half, and then I'm probably going to bet a teaser. Ravens and Niners. It's kind of a square teaser, but I believe that these have been the two best teams all year, and it hasn't been close. So, yeah, Packers handed them the game is correct. I mean, Jordan Love they're up 21-14. That interception, they give them 3. And then I missed. As soon as he missed a field goal, I knew we were dead on the over. You know, if he makes the field goal, we win the over. We're 24-24 to overtime. We can't lose over 50.5. But no, the guy missed a 41-yard field goal. Of course he did. So yeah, that was the only reason why we didn't scoop them last week. I mean, we had the Ravens. I told you they were going to kill them, and the other bet we had was over in the. How about my over Green Bay first half 9.5? I had first and goal, 3 straight possessions inside the 12-yard line, and I got a total of 6 points. That was beautiful. But we'll see. There's a little nugget for you guys. So, Kansas City, second half, have gone under 17 unders, 2 overs. 17 and 2 unders. Last week, I won my teaser. I had put a 14 1K teaser, Detroit and over with Kansas City and under 51.5. And it was sitting at 51 going to the fourth quarter, and nobody scored a point. And somehow I won my teaser last week for a 3K. Pretty unbelievable, actually. But 17 unders, 2 overs in the second half, Kansas City. So when the halftime line comes out tomorrow, it's probably worth betting under second half. And here's another little nugget. Kansas City fourth quarter, 18 and 1 unders. 18 and 1 under fourth quarter bets. Pretty incredible. You guys, Mahomes is not going up against 7 backups in Miami in frigid weather. And he's not going up against the Bills missing 4 defensive linemen. Okay? And their back end corner, Jadavius White. All right, they're going up an all-time great defense. Roquan Smith and the other guy, I forgot his name, is going to fucking have Mahomes running for his life. That's my picks, you guys. That's it. I got Ravens first half, and then I've got Detroit under 22 points, and I'm going to make a little teaser probably. A lot of people thinking, well, I'll take Kansas City plus 10.5, which they're probably right, but if I'm right and the Ravens are an all-time great team, then I don't want. I think you could lay some alt lines like lay 4, lay 9.5, lay 13, because I think they're an all-time great team. But I might be wrong. I know what he is as a dog. He's undefeated as a dog of over 3. But this isn't. I'm telling you guys. Kansas City hasn't beaten anybody. Go look who they beat. You know, I don't count last week's game. The Bills were missing their whole defense, and fucking Allen gave the game away again because he's a fucking loser. Nothing. I bet 2K. I bet 2K Ravens first half. 1K on Detroit under 22 points. And I'm probably going to bet a 1K teaser just for the heck of it. Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. You want to bet Mahomes gets sacked at least twice? Come on, man. I'll take 2. We can bet it. What's the number? The number's probably 2.5. Oh, I'm pulling for the Lions. Fuck. I hate fucking San Francisco. I've never liked them my whole life. How could you not pull for the Lions? You gotta have a fucking dead heart if you're fucking not pulling for the Lions. How could you not like them? The volume been low in the last 2 streams. Anybody else have that problem? Anyways. We'll see what happens. I mean, last year they shouldn't even have been in the Super Bowl. All the fucking coach of the Bengals had to do is squib kick the punt, and the game's over. Or not hit him out of bounds, and the game's over. So they shouldn't even have been in the Super Bowl. They had no receivers at all. Then in the Super Bowl, they had no receivers. but they had to fucking give up the punt return in the Super Bowl, and then Hurts had to fumble the ball and give away the game. So, yeah, we'll see what happens, guys. All right, so that's my week in poker so far. Really haven't been doing much this week. Just watching tennis every night, late at night, till like 6 in the morning. And I laid the 3-1 on what's his name today for 1K. Sinner. I mean, the guy who beat Joker the other day. Medvedev looks like he's completely gassed, so we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Plus, Kelsey is fucking slowed down, dude. Kelsey, yeah, he played great last week, dude. But you're talking about team miss. They're playing zone because they couldn't rush the passer because they was missing all their defensive backs, and Mahomes carves up zone. So Kelsey looked good. Watch what happens this week when they can fucking get home on fucking Mahomes. They'll be able to play man to man. I guarantee you, Kelsey can't get separation. You'll see. All right, let's take some phone calls. Been talking for like 30 minutes and see what y'all want to talk about, and we'll talk to that.
The Mouthpiece.
If you'd like to take part in our phone call segment, you can give us a call at 702-329-0480. And if you're a snowflake or a pussy and you don't want to talk to me, you can email me at mouthpiecepodcast@gmail.com. Also, follow me at the Mouth Matiso on Twitter for times that our call-in segment will be live.
702-329-0480. Give us a call. Tell me what you want to talk about. My voice is a little scrappy tonight because I was up all night and went to bed at like 1 in the afternoon and woke up at like 6. Was hoping to wake up around 8. And then I end up watching the Laker game. So I didn't sleep that much, but we'll see. No, it won't be a Trump-Biden rematch. I told you there's go look it up. Like they plan on putting Michelle Obama in at the convention. You'll see. There's no way Biden's running. You'll see. I said it forever. Plus, I told you Obama been running the country anyways. So that's their only hope because Biden can never win. I mean, guy can't speak. So I'm not even sure Trump will be in there either. Wouldn't shock me. 702-329-0480. Yeah, I can show you the link. You could Google it. Like, there's very, very well. What up? Welcome to Mouthpiece.
Hey, what's up, Mikey?
Hey, buddy. How are you?
Not bad, man. Gypsy Frank, what you up to?
My voice is a little scraggly tonight because I didn't sleep that much, but, doing all right. Just football season coming to an end.
Yeah, I hear you.
I'm probably going to, it's like 80% sure I'm going to be going down to Hustler Casino not this week coming up, but the following Monday, Tuesday. Probably going to film with Phil for 2 days and then come back here for Super Bowl week. But it's
What
not.
stakes will you be playing?
I'm going to probably play the Tuesday ante game. I think it's 25 ante. And then Ryan's going to try and get me in on the Monday game with DGAF, but that's not confirmed yet either. So, but Tuesday's pretty confirmed if I want to go down. And I woke up in a lot of pain today, so if I feel like I did today, probably won't go down. But it depends. I played a long session. When I play a long session, I always feel like shit, especially if I don't sleep good.
Yeah,
So,
I hear you, bro. I'm 33, and it takes its toll on me. I can imagine at your age.
yeah, like a week ago, Sunday, Monday of last week, I played till like 2, 3 in the afternoon, and the game doesn't very rarely goes around the clock. And I was stuck like 50 twice, got out both times. But the week goes into a different week, so I end up losing like 45K last week.
So when you get stuck 50, what are you shooting, like 10K bullets, 15K bullets, or what?
No, I sit with 20, 30,000 on the table.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
I mean, that's not. I mean, it's a buy-in and a half, basically.
Yeah, but I
Just
start
like a
off with
buy-in.
a 10K buy, and if I lose, I put 10 on the table. If I lose, I'll put 20 on the table. If I lose, I'll put 30 on the table, and then if I lose that, I quit. But
All right. When you play, do you prefer to have everyone covered, or in your game?
no,
does it
I don't.
really matter?
I honestly, I don't like playing that. I don't really like playing deep.
Me as well.
I could play deep. You know, I actually play better deep because I'm not. I play like a lot of people think that, oh, when Mike's stuck, he plays worse. No, I actually play better. I make big bluffs. I put people in spots where when I'm winning or I'm buying small, I'm kind of playing like straightforward. Because like I said, I'm not looking to kill the game. You know, if I played to win,
Why do you say you're not looking to kill the game? What is your reasoning for saying that? So you continue, can continue playing?
because I don't want to get
You don't
kicked
want
out.
to get kicked from it?
Yeah.
Okay, that makes.
You know, I mean, I'm not like if some, you know, I'm a top poker pro. You know, if I was in there beating the game for 100 a week, how long you think they'd have me in the game?
No, I understand fully.
Yeah.
I have to do that in some of the clubs I'm in.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
don't think
you know,
for some of the players or some
a
shit.
lot of people in the game think, oh, I might just play super nitty tight, but when I get stuck, that's why I always get out or get winners because I play hardcore. Like when I get buried, you know, it's like if you know, a lot of people say, oh, you should play like that every day, but I don't know, man. It's just not in my blood. I'm not looking to kill a game. I'm not looking to win infinite money. You know, I struggle, you know, with my health. Just the fact that I'm blessed to be in a game with a lot of great people, like great people, you know, and not worry about having to be cheated. And, you know, I help a lot of the bad
Also, getting paid by weekly also is a big thing.
Yeah, I give a lot of coaching to a lot of the players that struggle in the game too. You know, it's a happy, friendly game, and you know, some days it turns into a blood game, and I don't like it. I hate it when it becomes a blood game where people are kind of like.
Is that just a dynamic when certain players are stuck and whatnot?
Yeah, you know, I just don't like it when certain players are stuck and everybody's like feasting around one player or whatever, and I just get a bad taste in my mouth. I don't know if that's normal or not. You know, in poker you're supposed to just like shut up and beat up on people, you know, whatever.
Yeah, dog eat dog.
But when you're in a game with great people and friends and people you care about, you know, you don't want to do that, and so I usually never do that. So, you know,
To each their own.
yeah, you know, I think I'm playing good. You know, I made couple mistakes yesterday, like when I got flush over flush, like when I weak led the flop and he raised. And I called, and then he bet like 2K on the turn. I'm just supposed to just call and then see what he bets the river and just call, you know. But, you know, what are the odds of you raising the guy 3-betting you with Jack 9 of diamonds and it comes 3 diamonds and you have 6 8 of diamonds? Like, what are the odds? You know?
Yeah, there's just kind of a go broke hand.
Yeah, so I tried to rep the fucking, you know, I tried to like weak lead, then check jam and make it look like maybe I have the dry ace of diamonds or something. You know, I just whatever. I fucked up. You know, I should have lost 10K on the pot, 9K at the pot. I lost 18, but you know, overall, I thought I played really good. You know, I never had a hand. How do you sit there and play for 8 hours? Like until the last 15 minutes, I had won like 3 pots in 8 hours. And then I won over half my money back in the last 15 minutes with winning 3 big pots, including a really sick call down I made with second pair for like 14,000 on a king queen 9 board. So I thought I was playing good, but I'm happy that I took a pretty small loss considering how bad I ran.
Yeah, I hear you. I actually just got back from Jacksonville today. They had a 2K tournament. I went and played it. I played some PLO cash last night. It was advertised as 5-10, and they turned it into a 5-10, 25-50, 6-handed. So the game was super fucking juicy, and I didn't bring really enough cash to play it that big. So
it seems like Alan Keating invited me to a game one night. He said, "We're going to play 50, 100. We're playing small tonight, Mike. I want you to play." Okay. This is back, and me and Phil went halves. This is when I was struggling. This is back in, 2019. And I get in the game. It's 50, 100, 200, 400, 800 every hand. And I looked at Phil. I said, "Phil, we're going to need a bigger boat." And I won like 2,600, and I just quit the game after like an hour and a half because I wasn't going to. We needed 100,000 to play in this game, and we were sitting on like 15,000 apiece. And I was just
that's not going to cut it.
I
mean, you could fucking take a small shot at it and try to run it up. But
back in the days when I was younger, I took shots at big games all the time. You know what I'm saying? And I would. That's how I'd run fucking 20,000 into $1 million, and I'd run $1 million into nothing too. My age now, and like honestly, I'm not looking to playing games where I win or lose 100,000.
As you get older and mature, you become more conservative with stuff like that.
Yeah, if I didn't have my injury, I would say I would still probably be. Well, Phil really taught me money management, but I would still probably be a little bit more reckless if I can move around and get around, the country and get around places. But the fact that what I have to deal with, if I pick up 30,000 a month, or 20,000, I'm happy, You
could live a very nice, comfortable lifestyle off of.
And the thing is, I've got a lot of money in Bitcoin and some other stuff, and I still owe a little bit of money, but not much. And
compared to where you were at, it's night and day.
Oh yeah, I owe peanuts. It's just like I could pay it all off right now, but I don't want to. When you play in a game where if you run bad, you could lose 100 a week, three straight weeks.
Yeah, you got. As a poker player, you gotta always be able to keep yourself in action. Otherwise,
it's like Billy Baxter used to tell me when I went broke all the time. He used to say, "Mike," he goes, "you just gotta just play smaller, bet smaller." He goes, as long as you're in action, you're always going to make money. He goes, but if you're out of action, well, you're finished,
Exactly.
And, I used to always, because I was so good at poker, I used to think if I ever got broke, somebody would loan me 100 with no problem. I could just make a phone call. And before 2011, that was the fact. But then money got tight. The poker economy got
wells
tight.
dry up after a while.
Yeah, and then I realized, man, I couldn't borrow 5,000. So that's when I knew that if I ever got back on my feet again, that I can't go broke again. So I'm very fortunate that I'm a person that had a lot of money and went broke 9 times, and every time I went broke, I said I would never go broke again. And the last time I went broke in 2016, I was suicidal. I didn't think I had an out. I had no money. I owed everyone. I didn't think I had an out in the world. And but I ran 5,000 into what I have today, and I did it all on myself. And
Mazel tov.
I think what I've done the last 6-7 years in poker is 100 times a better accomplishment than anything I did before that. So being able to not bet sports, that was in 2016. I I know people like to say, "Oh, what do you mean, Mike? You still bet 1,000 on a?" No, I bet like 2 games a week for like 2K, and I kind of follow sharp people, and I don't fucking just bet every game and tilt when I lose and fire away like I used to. I used to bet 5,000 to 20,000 a game, and every half, every total, every second half. I would bet 100 games a week. I haven't bet 100 games in 5 years.
When you were doing that, were you betting with the casino, or did you have someone taking your action?
No, I had like 1 million outs, and they lie. I laid $1.05. I still lay $1.05.
Nice.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I would say for the last 2 years, betting 1,000 or 2 on a game, I'm dead even. I'm not loser. Maybe I.
Well, that's fine if you just keep it at that pace and don't,
No, it's like so.
Bump it up.
The one guy who I deal with, I just said straight out, like, don't ever give me an account. Like I don't.
Tap me at this.
I'm like I bet with him whatever through text or whatever, but I bet small, but like I don't ever want an account with anybody because I know I'm sick. It's kind of like a drug addict doing drugs. You can't just say, hey, give me some drugs. Like sports betting to me, if I ever had an account, I would probably go back to my old self. You know what I'm saying? And so, one guy that I bet.
I want to touch on that really quickly. So, I'll make a long story short. During COVID, I was home a lot, obviously, with a wife and 3 kids. Being home around each other too much is no good. Arguing more than normal. And anyway, I was watching your podcast, and I kept seeing this advertisement for this website, BetterHelp. It's a online therapy thing. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, fuck it. You know what? I'm going to give it a shot. I'm like, I want to hear from a licensed professional if I'm crazy or my wife's crazy. Yeah. And anyway, so I did it, and I talked to this chick for like 3 months, bro, and it was the most beneficial thing I've ever done in my life because I've realized, like, I thought I had problems in my marriage or whatever, which they were nothing. I had a lot of self-destructive tendencies, and I would do a lot of self-sabotaging, especially being, growing up gambling and stuff. And so I was setting myself up for failure, and I made some changes, bro, and I'm a lot happier. So I actually thank God for that.
Yeah, that's great, and that's kind of like what I've done too. It's like, so like I made one big bet in the last like 4 years, and I lost it. I said, listen, I want to bet 10,000 on this game, but no matter what happens, I'm only allowed to make a $10,000 bet once a year at max. And it was on the Bengals against Kansas City last year. And
we all know how that went.
Well, I mean, this is like all the coach has to do is punt the ball out of bounds and I win. I mean, they were the best team all year. It wasn't even close. And, but that's what happens when I bet big. Crazy shit like that happens.
But did you feel like chasing after you lost that 10K bet?
No, I didn't. No, because I have a, it's like there was like 1 week recently I lost it was actually last week, or it was a week before. It was a week before, and I lost like 2 brutal beats, and I was pissed, and I'm just like, I want 5,000 on the Bills, right? He's like, no, you can't. He goes, the most you can have is 3. Oh, no, just one time. He goes, no, we have a deal. You can't.
That's fair.
And
that's
so,
super cool.
And then afterwards, like the next day, I thanked him.
That dude obviously cares about you because he's a bookie. He wants to take
right. Because like I know I'm sick. If you know you're sick, you can't. You have somebody. It's just like.
Yeah, dude didn't enable you.
Dude, this is like, it's everybody that definitions of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and never getting a different result.
Expecting a different result.
And it never changes. And so once I've changed that, it's like, I just, it is what it is. I can bet $1,000 a game on one game a day or 2 games a day the rest of my life and never worry about anything. But I'm not going to do that because I don't want to go to. I don't enjoy betting sports anymore. I love football. I love putting in the work and trying to pick a game or two a week that wins for everybody. That's it. And we lost. We lost our last 3 pick of the weeks of the year, but look at the way we lost. 2 of them were complete freaks. One we never had a chance in week 19, but 18, but like week 17 and 16 we lost. We lost to Mike McCarthy not running the ball on 2nd and 3rd down and using up the clock, or Detroit could never score. And we lost the other one on a punt return with the Rams against the Giants. So, and then our pick of the week was then I think in week 19 with the Ravens plus 3.5, and we're down. We had first down at the 11-yard line with a minute and 11 left to get the backdoor cover and landed on fucking 3. So we had a chance,
right.
Even though they were the wrong side and the Ravens, I didn't realize the Ravens were resting like 15 people. I thought they were only resting 4. And
that's obviously why the line was the way it was.
Yeah, but we knew that, but they still almost got the cover. Think about that,
That's impressive in itself, yeah. About that.
People bet injuries, and the Kansas City lost last week like one of their best interior linemen. Like without him, like the Ravens are going to be able to run like fucking crazy on Kansas City. And you're going to see that you had an 18-week sample size. And 18 weeks, you looked at the Chiefs and you said, this team has no chance of going to the Super Bowl. Their offensive line is a disaster. Now, people want to think it's fixed because they beat a Miami team missing 7 defensive starters out of 11. And then they beat in frigid temperatures. And then they beat a Bills team missing all their starting linemen. So they had to play zone. Go look what Mahomes' record is against zone defenses. He wins like 80% of the games when they play zone. Well, the Ravens will not be playing zone tomorrow. They'll be playing man-to-man, and Roquan Smith and their other pass rusher is going to get home and you're going to watch that offensive line that struggled all year will struggle tomorrow. And I think the Ravens are going to rout them. The only reason why this line even opened so small is because of the Mahomes factor. The fact that this game is
the best guy for this conversation, to be honest with you, because I don't necessarily keep up with NFL.
Oh, you don't? I thought you did. Yeah. No, but
here and there, but not a lot.
It's like what people don't understand is like they opened the Bills 3, right? And they open the Ravens 3. And the Ravens do everything better on both sides of the ball. It makes no sense. But it's just the Mahomes factor. But whatever.
I had a poker question for
you.
If you
Go ahead.
Mind. So it kind of goes back on what we touched on earlier. You said you feel more comfortable playing shorter. So the games that I play in, because I'm staked, I have a limited bankroll in them, or I'm only allowed to shoot so much at each day at a game. So I short stack because I told you I transitioned to PLO within the last couple of years. My background is from No Limit Hold'em, specifically tournaments. So I play a short stack, really well. So I buy in for 50 to 100 big blinds in these games, and I could shoot 10 bullets that way, and most of the time I run it up. But what I've realized now, when I do get deep and build up, a 800,000 big blind stack, I tend to tighten up too much to where it's like I become a nit, or when I do try to open up, I overcompensate a bit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well,
Any suggestion for that?
I kind of do the same. So if I start out small and I get deep, I play pretty tight. Now, but if I get stuck and I get deep, then I play poker with them, and then I really attack. And if I attacked and played like that all the time, I would win a lot of money. you know, but I don't, which is fine. I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all. You know, I don't mind. Like a lot of people will say, oh well, when Mike gets stuck, he plays bad. No, I don't. I play good. You know, I call the 3 bets. I check rate. I put them in. I use my ability. You know, instead of just kind of like, you know, playing like A, B, C and a couple of bluffs here or there, or whatever.
I tend to gamble a little bit too much when I'm stuck trying to get even, forcing shit in spots where I could call. I'll rip it, you know, and I'll take maybe a less plus EV line just to be able to have action in a hand. But what I've noticed is when I'm running bad, I'll be losing 7-8 buy-ins because I'm short stacking it. But when I'm winning,
that's where that's where you can't. When you're running bad, if you're running bad, you shouldn't lose, and you can't buy in deep. You should lose no more than 3 buy-ins. You know. But if you're able to, like me, I'll buy in 10. I lose. I'll buy in 10. I lose. I'll put 20 on the table. If I lose, I'm down 40. And I put 30 on the table. If I lose, I'd be done. But I've only lost 70 once. You know, I've lost 50.
That's totally different because I'm playing in let's say for instance, a 3-6 game where I'm buying in for $400. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm super short stacking it and I'm shooting 10 bullets at it because sometimes I'm multi-tabling that. So instead of buying in deep, I just feel like I have a better edge at that spot. It makes decisions a lot easier.
No, it does, you know, but and that's what I usually do. Like when you're
as a player in that position.
When I buy in for $10K, you know, it's like decisions are easy.
Very often when you're deep.
Yeah, decisions are easy, you know, but I like the challenge. You know, I like being able to raise, fold. I like to be able to do different things, fold. You know, I'm good at getting away from hands, and when you're deep, you know, you know, there was a hand yesterday that I called like big bet flop, big bet turn on a paired board with ace deuce of clubs with 9 9 10 jack with 2 clubs, and he checked the river and I just moved in and he folded and he told me my ace high was good, which I kind of thought it might have been, but I just didn't understand the bomb like I called a double pre and it was during the stand-up game and
that creates a whole nother dynamic.
It creates a whole other dynamic. So you've got to, the thing is during the stand-up game, you've got to be willing to gamble. And the stand-up game is a great equalizer to my talent. So it forces me to gamble, you know, especially when it's $500 a man in a 10, 20, 40 game. And so it's $3,500 a round when you lose, you know, you lose 3 of those a night and fuck, you got to win a lot of pots to make up for losing.
Yeah, no shit.
You know, so you got to pick a spot. You have to use your image and you've got to get good flops that you could bomb. You know what I mean? Like last night, I made it 1999 with ace queen of spades and got 4 callers, and it came king 9 deuce, 2 hearts and a club. Like I can't see bet this flop. 4 people calling, you know, 3 people calling 19. And then the one guy bets like 4,000 at the turn. He has 3-8 offsuit. So it's like, you know, it's like, I mean, whatever. You know what I mean? But
yeah, tough situation. The games we play in don't really do that. They do like a double board bomb pot every like 30 minutes or whatever, which I fucking can't stand, bro. I think they're full of shit if you ask me.
Hey, I got to take some other calls. Some people want to get
good
in.
Talking, bro.
Hey, have a great weekend. Take care, man.
As well.
Peace.
Bye.
All right. Sorry about that. 702-329-0480. Give us a call. Whoa. What's up, man? Welcome to Mouthpiece.
What?
What's up?
Who's this?
It's Mike.
Mike, Madison.
Yeah, yeah. What's up, man?
What's going on, Mike? I'm at the strip club right now in Providence, Rhode Island. Hey, this is Action Jackson. I
Hey.
love your poker game. Listen, tomorrow, I think the Lions get a fucking shot tomorrow. I think the Lions strike gold tomorrow. Also, you can't count out Patty Mahomes. Patty Mahomes going to take care of business. Lamar Jackson can't hang with the AFC. AFC win it all. Patty Mahomes against the Detroit Lions.
I think you're dreaming, but
Madison, listen, Providence, Rhode Island, Foxy Lady, ask for Action Jackson, they'll take care of you.
yep. You got it,
Sounds
my man.
good.
Have a good one. Thanks
Bye.
for calling. Peace. Later. I mean, how could you not pull for Detroit? You know, I love the coach. You know, Jared Goff, heck of a story. But you guys are going to see what an all-time great team looks like. They should be 19-0. Okay? They beat the Lions by 100. They beat San Francisco by 100. They beat Miami by 100. They beat every fucking top team by 100 when they were fucking healthy. So you're going to see what an all-time great team looks like tomorrow. That's all. And, yeah, Mahomes is the best, probably the best quarterback I've ever seen. You know, we'll see. We'll see. It's a big number, man. I can't lay 7.5. I can't even lay 7. You know, I think Frisco wins the game, but I know the back end Detroit defense gives up 300 yards to everybody. You know, probably best bet should be Purdy over 262 yards passing. Welcome to Mouthpiece, Mike.
Hey, Mike, can you hear me, buddy?
Yeah, what's up, man? How are you?
Hey, man. Long-time fan.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate your podcast. I agree with you politically and economically and all that other stuff. But
Nice.
one thing I do want to say is, you know, in 2005, I happened to be in Vegas for my 21st birthday, and that was the final table that you made. And that was just an incredible experience just for me and seeing all that stuff. And, man, that was a good time for poker. So
Yeah,
that was exciting. So,
It was.
Yep.
It was one of the most depressing days of my life, but it was good, you know.
No, I got you.
Yeah, the thing for me in the
really-
tournament. Sorry about that. The thing for me in the tournaments
go ahead.
now is because of my health. I really struggle late in day twos, and I really struggle. You know, it's just my body just breaks down, and it's just I haven't been able to.
I got you.
I haven't, and the days it hasn't broke down, I just haven't been able to close. And it sucks, but
Yeah,
you
no,
know,
but I'm a passive fan. But when you made the final table, you know, this summer, that was amazing. You know that we all stayed up and watched and clicked the refresh button and was cheering you on, man.
yeah, man, that was good, man.
pretty-
I made back-to-back final tables, both in Stud 8, and
Yeah.
and I made the Stud 8 championship final table now 4 times in 10 years. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
It's only one a year.
You know, it's a
Now, people don't realize,
but-
like, when there's only one a year and you make it 4, there's 200 something people and you make it the final table 4 out of like 10. It's not luck. You know what I'm saying? The split games are not luck. I'm deep in every Omaha 8 tournament and every, Stud 8 tournament because I'm good. You know, I understood. I figured out something about tournament split games that nobody else has been able to figure out. And I've used it to my advantage. And I think that, that's why I don't know if I'm willing to share that info with people. You know, it's like, that's why when Doug Polk called me out, I talked about starting a teaching service on split games. He thought it was funny. He laughed at me,
Right.
But it's it is what it is, man. I know
but-
something about tournament Stud 8 and 08 that people don't know, and I know it works. And even when I'm completely card dead and never win a hand, I'm still down to the last, 4 tables out of minimum.
Right.
Last year I bubbled the last 2 years last year I bubbled the 10K 08. Year before I finished like 21st, and if I win this massive pot against Dan Zach 3 ways, I probably win the 08 tournament instead of him. And
Right.
I mean, the flop came king. I would have come king, queen, deuce with 2 diamonds, and it came queen, jack, deuce with 2 diamonds, and I had ace, king, queen, jack, 3 with 2 diamonds, and I had ace, king, 3 with backdoor diamonds, and we get it capped, and I didn't think Dan Zach had aces because the other guys in there capping it too, even on the flop. And now the turn card came like second pair, and Dan Zach let out. I called, and the other guy folded, and then the river, Dan Zach bet, and I called, and he had aces. And if I win that pot, if I hit a 10, and with the board pairing on the turn, a king is now good for me because he had ace, 10. So I win with a 10, a king, or a diamond, And if a small card rolls off on the turn, maybe I have backdoor nut lows, and this pot was capped pre-flop and capped on the flop, and we're playing like 30,000 big blind, and I mean I win this pot. This was like a 1,000,000 chip pot. I probably win the tournament. So, so many tournaments come down to the turn of one card. And
Absolutely does. Yep, absolutely.
And history has been changed by the river card so many times. Jeff Schulman had Chris Ferguson all in 2001 with 7s against 6s, and Chris flops a set, and then Chris is all in ace 9 to ace queen and hits a 9 on the river against TJ. Chris Ferguson maybe never becomes a name.
Right.
Full tilt poker never happened. So many turns of a card happen. If it doesn't come heart in the main event in 05, I'm going to win that tournament. And we're history. And now what does history say? Then it says Mike Madison made 3 main event final tables and won one. If I call Carlos Mortensen when I knew he was bluffing, and I win that hand, I could have won the main twice. So. It's not like history comes down to a couple of decisions and a couple of cards. And like me and Phil were talking, like I can name 3 hands and 2 that I misplayed that cost me 2 bracelets last year. And Phil said I can name 3 that cost me at least 1 bracelet, maybe 2. So, it comes down to one hand where 1 card, or one hand that you fold that you should have called, or just so many. It all comes down to a few different little small things. That's all.
It does, but you have a huge fan base. We all started watching you on ESPN, and I met you in 2005. I met Phil. I mean, Phil gets a bad rap, but Phil is probably the nicest guy I've ever met. And I just wanted to let you know that I do appreciate your podcast and everything that you do, and you're going to win that bracelet. I can promise you. We were.
Yeah, I put too much pressure on myself last year. I just thought if I won that tournament that they have to put me in the Hall of Fame, but they had already decided they were putting Brian Rast in anyways. So like if I would have known that, I wouldn't have been thinking, I gotta win, because I knocked Brian Rast out of the Stud 8 tournament where he finished like 7th. And I was like, if I knock him out and I win the tournament, they have to, But the bottom line was it was already set in stone. So,
are you planning your next World Series of Poker schedule next year?
I haven't looked at the schedule. I never look until like a couple weeks before. And I'll probably last year I played the most tournaments ever played. I'll cut that back down this year. Having a room really made a big difference, and so I but also having a room made a difference where where I was, like after I got done with the tournament, I'd wake up the next day and jump in another tournament. Where when I used to go home, I would take the next day off. So this year, if I get knocked out on day 3 or late on day 2, I am going to drive home and take the next day off. And so that's what I didn't do last year, and I think it cost me a couple bracelets. But having a room for the first time, I was also getting those IVs that really made me feel good. I was getting them like 3 times a week. And so they really, 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 really made me play well and feel good. So, I think I've got it figured out. And, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, no, I was watching the Pluto TV, and they have a poker channel on there, and you were playing in Aruba with your buddy, and that was just so cool. Considering everything that's happened, and it happened to show up on that. I mean,
I should have won the Aruba tournament. I had the guy all in with second pair. I had the guy all in with second pair versus my top pair, and he had made 2 pair. And then if he doesn't win that, me and Lane are head up. And me and Lane were best friends. We would have made a deal. We would have probably chopped it.
For sure.
And then instead, like he fucking flops a set of deuces not once but twice against Lane's overpair. And Lane got second in that Aruba tournament.
Just kind of go on that thing. Like, what do you think about, I know that, you're having a hard time with Lane and stuff, but can you kind of give us a good story about maybe Lane? And, I think we're all fans of Lane. You're such a cool guy on the TV. So are you, and so is Phil. Yeah. But it's like, only thing I know about Lane is from what you told us. So maybe tell us a really cool Lane story.
Lane was in the early 2000s. He was the best no limit player in the world for sure.
Was he?
And like if he entered a no limit tournament, he either won it or was at the final table. Him and Carlos were probably first and second. And then
it's amazing though, because poker, we both know that, as you said, the river can change everything. Like, to be that good.
Yeah. Me, Daniel, and Huck were like the next group.
Really?
And then you got to remember, that's before Ivy. Ivy didn't become a no limit hold'em player really till like 2007, 2006.
Were you guys aware of like the big game with the billionaire oil guy? Were you aware of that?
Yeah, of course. That was the week I went out of town. The only week I ever left town, and everybody got rich. And
you told me they charged you for water. There was like a 1-2 game, and then it went to 5-10 when you came back.
It was pretty amazing. Like, that was like the only week that I left town. Yeah. But it is what it is. And the guy who wrote the book, was Mike, was a good friend of mine, and. Was it the Banker and the Suicide King, whatever, what's it called?
Yeah,
that was a great book.
Yeah.
Michael Craig, and me and him got in a big fight because he didn't write we had a fallout over money when I was writing my book, and so it kind of hurt our friendship. I hate people's friendship being hurt over money. I think it's kind of bullshit, but.
It is, yeah.
But it is what it is. All right, man. Thanks for calling. Have a great week.
Listen, man, I just want to let you know that people appreciate you, man. You are 20 years later, you are still a legend, and I listen to every podcast. I know there's people that are passive like me. We appreciate you taking the time, man. I love you.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Love you, buddy. I'll talk to you soon, man.
All right, later.
All right, bye-bye.
Yeah. No, it's true. We were ahead of the game. Everybody was so weak. Like, there was, like at the 2001 main event, I raised 9 out of 10 hands, sometimes 10 out of 10. Like, me and Phil we were the most feared. I mean, I was the most feared player in the world. I raised 3-bet. It didn't matter. I had no fear. Now I don't, because everybody understands board texture, and everybody understands flops. They understand hands that you can't jam on, and everybody's deep. Before back back then, the chip leaders were sitting on 40 big long blinds, and the average stack was 20 big blinds. And so you were able to, like, when you sense weakness, you would jam on people. Now you jam on people and they'll call you with like Jack Queen suited and shit. So, back then when you jammed on people, they think you had aces, because nobody ever jammed without like aces or kings and shit, or ace king. So it was a different type of game, but I don't think the game's changed that much. I just think you need to understand board texture and board flops, and you need to understand bet sizing. And as long as you do all that, it's there's no solvers or studying in the world that's going to change anything. Just as long as you understand, as long as you know sizings and board textures and how to attack people that play the same way, it's not that hard. But all right. What's up? Welcome to the Mouthpiece. What are you doing?
Hey, Mike.
What's up?
This is Steven from Wisconsin again.
How you doing, my
Talked to you
friend?
about a month ago.
Yeah, what are you up to?
Just hanging out. I was watching the podcast. Just wanted to ask you, at any point last Saturday, were you worried about Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers?
They should have won.
Not the 49ers.
They should have won. There's no way they could lose that game. They could only lose the game if they Frisco didn't beat them. They beat themselves. The pass over the middle that gave Frisco a free three to make it 21-17 was a free three. And a guy misses the field goal that the worst they would have been is in overtime. And I mean, Aaron Jones was running it down. That's why Detroit, I'm a little, like Detroit could run the ball. And teams have been able to run the ball on Frisco this year. What's his name? Leonard or whatever. What's Frisco's best? No, Armstead, right? He missed last year, and now he came back, and he's not the same guy. And teams are running the ball, fucking through Frisco. So, I mean, Detroit could run it. If they're able to run the ball, they got a shot. I've thought all year, I thought Detroit was a fraud. I thought they couldn't beat any good teams, and they played a weak schedule. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that NFC, the division they were in, maybe that was just a great division, because the Packers fucking kicked the shit out of Dallas. And let's be honest, they kicked the shit out of San Francisco last week. I mean, that's ridiculous throw over the middle, give them three, and then missing a field goal there. It's just, they dominated that game. Frisco had no right to win that game, none whatsoever. That's a heartbreaking loss.
Felt so confident in Green Bay until
a lot of people say
Green stopped them on third down.
A lot of people.
I knew he had to kick the three. Man. I went, motherfucker, this guy.
I mean, you got to understand when he breaks it, when Aaron Jones breaks that 53-yard run, it's like I'm home free, right? I'm guaranteed a field goal, and if Frisco gets a touchdown, the game goes over. That was what my biggest bet was last week, over 50.5. And the guy misses a field goal. It's like a chip shot. You can't miss a 40-yard field goal in the NFL. You just can't do it. And Buffalo did it last week. They missed a 40. You got people missing. You got kickers missing 41-yard field goals in 2024. I mean, these field goal kickers kick from 60 like it's nothing. You know what I mean? I don't know, man. I think that the Bills' window was this year, and I thought that even with all the defensive problems that they had going into last week's game, I thought Kansas City could never stop the run, and they'd be able to score what they wanted, and they couldn't. They couldn't stop the run. But you tell me, with 2 minutes to go on the other end of the 2-minute warning, what are they doing? Why are they even throwing to the end zone? They're supposed to be throwing it over the middle, getting a first down. They get one first down and they get to milk the entire clock. And the worst they do is go to overtime or win the game. Like, what are you doing throwing to the end zone? Like those, when he had, what's his name, Diggs right over the middle for the slant, he's going to get a first down or they're going to be 3rd and 1. Like, why is he throwing? Josh Allen, who played amazing. And like I said, when Allen plays amazing, they're almost impossible to beat. But then what does he do? He makes 2 bonehead plays in a row, and it cost him the game. Now, you can't say Allen cost him the game because he played so good, but those 2 play calls by whoever made those play calls was ridiculous. And he's got Diggs right over the middle on the crossing route. Just throw it to him. He's going to get a first down. And now it's a fucking 30-yard field goal. They don't get in, and they're going to be able to milk the clock all the way down. Kansas City's never going to see the ball again. So why are they even if they make the field goal, you got 2 timeouts in 1:45 from Mahomes to get a field goal? That was just, it never should have came to that. I mean, the Bills choked it away just like Green Bay did. They both did. Wow. I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, Green Bay kicked the shit out of Detroit in fucking Thanksgiving, and Green Bay, there were, people are saying they're Super Bowl preseason favorites next year. They have the youngest team in the NFL. The way they came on at the end of the year was unbelievable. That defense played so good the last 5 weeks, which was so bad, most of the year.
And they fired Joe Barry.
No, they kept him. They didn't fire him.
They fired him.
The guy, the defensive guy from Green Bay this year, I mean?
Yeah, the DC, Joe Barry, he's fired.
No. He was so good the last 5 weeks. That team had the fucking best defense in the NFL the last 5 weeks. Are you sure?
I'm like 99.9% positive.
Well, let's Google it. Oh, I didn't hear this. They were talking about how good he was.
I thought they played good enough to keep him, but 2 days after they lost, he got fired.
Yeah, he's out as Green Bay after a turbulent 3rd season. But how can they? I mean, it was turbulent, but it was great. Dude, it was fixed. Their defense was fixed the last 5 weeks. Nobody could score shit on them. Wow, that's shocking.
Yeah, they
that's
bust
shocking.
themselves against Frisco.
I think that's a big mistake. Joe Barry fired Green Bay Packers fans in a necessary move to win now. All right. I don't know, man. I don't know what they're watching. I watched a defensive coordinator take a defense that was the worst in the NFL through week 12 or 13. Yeah, through week 13. And turned it into the best in the NFL the last 5 weeks, including dismantling Dallas and It's what you think he cost the fucking Green Bay the game? Come on, man. They fucking couldn't get it. They did a great job against Frisco. Jordan Love cost them the game. The kicker cost them the game.
As soon as I knew he was going to miss the kick. But as soon as he missed, I went, yeah.
I needed the. I know if I get the kick, I thought Frisco was starting to move the ball better, and I thought they had a chance to tie the game. If they make the kick, I'm going to win the total. And if not, Green Bay's going to be out. I mean, Frisco's going to be out. And then I had my Super Bowl pick in Buffalo and my Super Bowl bet on the Ravens going, which there's nobody in the NFC, if Frisco was out, that were going to possibly beat the Ravens or Buffalo. And the Ravens are going to the Super Bowl. Don't buy into the Kansas City hype, dude. They fucking played 2 teams missing their whole defenses, man. You'll see. You'll see tomorrow what an all-time great team is. I'm telling you, they're an all-time great team.
I'm looking forward to it.
I think the Packer game's going to be closer than the Kansas City game. I do, but I might be wrong. Yeah.
I want to see the Ravens beat the Chiefs. And
I think they're
going for Detroit.
Yeah, I think you're going to watch those pass rushers for the Ravens get home on Mahomes. I don't think they have the receivers to beat man coverage. The only reason why they were able to beat Buffalo last week is they were missing their 4 defense D-backs, so they couldn't play man, they couldn't rush, they had to play zone, and Mahomes just tears apart zones. You'll see, you guys, you're gonna see what an all-time great team is. You know, yeah,
It'll be a fun day tomorrow.
yeah, yeah. The Dolphins, they held them to 14. The Dolphins played. They weren't an all-time great offense. The Dolphins were 1-8 against teams with a winning record. Their only win, a fucking 2-point last-second win against Dallas. All of the Miami crushings, just like all of Dallas's crushings, were against bottom 4 teams in the NFL. You know, it's like, and like even the Eagles, they ended up being what, like the worst team in the NFL the last 5 weeks. They couldn't beat the Giants. They couldn't beat Arizona. You know, when Frisco beat them by 40,
Terrible.
you know, that was a wake-up call. I knew when they were 10-1, they should have been 6-5. They were down 10 points in second half in 4 straight games and won. You know how impossible that is in the NFL? You're something like less than 10% when you're down 2 scores in the NFL in the second half. You know? So it's like they were fool's gold all year. When they were 10-1, they should have been 6-5, and then they're basically a 6-10 team.
Then they were 6-5.
Yeah, they were the only team worse than them in the NFL the last 6 weeks were Carolina. I mean, the Giants should have beat them twice. They're the worst team in the NFL. I mean, Washington could have beat them twice. Washington was 4-15, whatever the fuck they were. The Eagles were a very, very bad, flawed team. So, you know, Dallas was a flawed team. I told everybody, when you can't run the ball or stop the run, you can't fucking win. The NFL is one thing. Run the ball, stop the run. Okay? Frisco can run the ball. They've struggled to stop the run. Detroit can run the ball and stop the run, which is why Detroit has a chance. Okay? The Kansas City ain't going to be able to run the ball on that fucking Raven defense. And fucking their defense sure can't stop. If they couldn't stop fucking Green Bay, what do you think the Ravens are going to do to them? You know? The NFL is all football. College football, NFL, run the ball, stop the run. And I told my friend John, I said, your Dallas Cowboys have no chance. He's like, oh, no, they're going to get the champ. No, they're not. They can't run the ball or stop the run. If you listen to my podcast, remember I said that Dallas should have picked up Dalvin Cook? I'm like, because Pollard sucks and he can't run the ball. And everybody's like, no, Pollard's good. No, Pollard's good out of the passing game. He couldn't run the ball all year. If you can't run the ball or stop the run, you can't win. So Detroit has a shot because they could run the ball and they have a unbelievable run defense. But their pass defense is awful. And if Purdy is as good as I think he is, and not like other people who think he's a system quarterback, if he's as good as I think he is, I think Purdy's going to be able to carve him up. And I think Purdy over 262 yards, I think it is. I like the over because everybody, look, Baker threw for the 3rd highest total in Tampa Bay history last week, 349 yards against Detroit. Fucking the Rams went off for 405. And they just went up and down I don't even know how Detroit won that game. So if Purdy plays well, I mean, Frisco's going to, you know, I think one of the best bets is the Purdy over. You know, if the Purdy doesn't go over, Detroit's got a great chance to win the game. But you know, they can stop.
Purdy proved me right this year, especially the last couple games. But
listen, Purdy played a bad game against the Ravens, and he played a bad game last week. But that's because he couldn't grip the ball. See, why did Purdy go in the 7th round as Mr. Irrelevant? It's not because he's not a good quarterback. It's because he's got small hands. Okay, Jared Goff has small hands. Teams that have small hands they struggle. Now, if you remember Derek Carr's brother, you know, he fumbled the ball all the time because he had small hands. You know, when you have small hands and it gets wet out, like Purdy, the ball kept slipping out of his hand. He tried to use a glove, you know, and he struggled with
Took
it.
it off.
It's going to be perfect weather tomorrow. I think Purdy is going to carve them up, man, on the back end. But we'll see. When you can run the ball and stop the run, you can win. You know.
I'm going to be rooting for Detroit just because I like.
Listen, you're heartless if you don't root for Detroit. How could you not root for Detroit, right? You know, Jared Goff was throwing in the meat grinder as a throw-in with all the draft picks, right? And he was an afterthought for Stafford. And Jared Goff, as good as Stafford had a great year this year, but Jared Goff was a top 5 quarterback this year. I mean, got to give him credit, you know, credit where credit's due. And if he don't turn the ball over, Detroit could win the game, but it's probably going to be a higher scoring game. They're not going to win in an under game. You know, they're going to have to pull all the tricks. And this guy's going to be going for it on 4th down a lot. He's going to be aggressive. And so if they're successful, they got a shot, you know. But I just know the back-end defense is going to give up 300 yards passing. They do it every week. They have the worst back-end pass defense in the NFL. That's why next year, Detroit, they're going to sign some corners and safeties, and they're going to be really tough next year.
Find some people that want to go and play there.
Yeah, who wants to go to Detroit, Michigan? This isn't 1980, 1990. See, the fucking political class has destroyed Detroit, Michigan. They've destroyed it from within. All it is drug-infested running downtown. It's sad what they've done. Sent all the jobs to China. Corrupt motherfuckers. Yeah. All right, man. Well, I appreciate you calling. And,
hey, Mike,
you know, I honestly, I think it's going to be the Ravens and Frisco in the Super Bowl.
I believe so, too.
And if you believe that, if you think that's what it's going to do, you should probably bet the NFC now, because the NFC right now is Frisco 1, or it's Frisco 1. I'm sorry, NFC is -1. If they play Baltimore, they're going to be 1.5. If they play Green Bay, they're going to be, the Chiefs, they're going to be 3. You know, but if Detroit wins, you know, Detroit's going to be a 4-point dog to anybody. So, you know, it depends. I think I said this on the show, and I watched the Ravens game. I think the Ravens are an all-time great team. But that Raven-Frisco game was much closer than the 31-17 final where they lost by 14, because Frisco was able to run the ball against the Ravens. And if it wasn't for Purdy's turnovers, that game was way closer than the final score. And I think in a rematch, I've said this before, I think it's great. These are 2 all-time great teams. Do you know that the Ravens are listed as, this is crazy, but I heard this on a podcast the other day, as the 5th best team all time, and the Frisco is listed as the 9th best team all time. Like, these 2 teams this year they're considered 2 of the top 10 best teams all time. And I kind of think they are an all-time great team, both of them. You know, I'm not going to go unless the Ravens win 34-13, which is possible against Kansas City. You know, if it's a close game and they win, and Frisco wins by like 14 or more, I think Frisco in the rematch it's going to be a hell of a game. I'll tell you that much. So we'll see.
On paper, I think the Niners I can see them being.
They got their bad game out of the week. I think if it wasn't for the weather, you wouldn't have seen what you saw last week. Purdy couldn't grip the ball. He just missed every pass because he couldn't grip the ball. And you'll see, you know, that'll be different this week against the worst pass defense in the NFL. So
should be a fun day of football tomorrow, Mike.
Yep,
I'll
look forward to it. All right, take care. Peace.
Yep, have a good night. Peace.
So we have one more call? All right, let's take it.
Hello. Please state your name after the tone, and Google Voice will try to connect you.
Hang that up. I think Purdy's good. I watched him play. I disagree. Yeah, I think I don't think Frisco could lose tomorrow. I really don't. I really don't. Debo's playing. He said his shoulder's fine. It's just a bruise. He says he feels 100%. And if Debo wasn't playing, I would go against him. Hey, welcome to Mouthpiece. It's Mike.
Hey, Mike, how you doing, buddy?
Good. How are you?
Oh, not bad, not bad. What do you think about the Super Bowl logo conspiracy?
Oh, that's just
last couple of years.
Come on, it's a conspiracy. That's like the people. It's like the people are like, "Oh, Kansas City's gonna win because of Taylor Swift." Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. It's a multi-billion-dollar league. No matter who plays in the Super Bowl, there's going to be a all-time record watching it. It's just every year is another all-time record. They're not going to be fucking, oh my God, an extra 100 million people are going to tune in because of Taylor Swift. No, that's not going to happen. Give me a break.
Right. Yeah. Well, if it happens, I guess it looks like the Ravens might be the favorite.
Telling you,
since
man.
It's purple and
You'll see, man. You'll see.
Yeah.
Kansas City
Hey.
sucks. They beat two teams missing half their defense and one team missing almost their whole defense. Their offense isn't fixed. Okay, they're going up against an all-time great defense. You're going to see they're going to get home on. Mahomes is going to run for his life. They're going to be playing man-to-man. He ain't going to be able to do shit. You'll see. You know, Kansas City has a great defense, though. You know, that like one guy said, they've held like 15 teams under 20. You know, they have a top 4 defense. So can Kansas City be the 2018 Patriots that went into Arrowhead and won 13-10 or 16-13, something like that? Because that's the only way Kansas City's going to win is like a low-scoring game. I think they could win it. If it's a high scoring game, I don't think the Ravens could. You know, I don't think Kansas City could win. So, but you know, their defense is good, man. But their run defense isn't that good. So you know, we'll see. We'll see, man. I think you know people are like, you can't bet against Patrick Mahomes, but when it's man to man and not zone, you've got receivers that can't get separation. Their receivers cannot get separation. And fucking and Kelsey looks like, and Kelsey lost like 3 steps. Like, oh yeah, he looked great last week, but again, that was in zone. Okay, because they had no linebackers. In man to man this week, fucking their 2 pass rushers are gonna get home. They're not gonna be able to get separation, and they're gonna struggle to move the ball. You'll see.
Yeah, it seemed like even when they did get separation, like that Marquez Van Scantling, I mean, he's got like no hands.
Yeah, I mean, he did make a great catch last week. Was on a big drive, you know. But basically, he just doesn't have any hands. And you know, Rice has looked good, but again, it's against zone. Like what? He can't get separation against man, dude. They have great corners, the fucking Ravens. The Ravens do everything so much better than Buffalo. The fact that they open Buffalo 3 and then they open the Ravens 3. I mean, the Ravens are 100 times better than Buffalo in every aspect. They fucking have destroyed teams this year. Every top team they've destroyed. You know? Just look what they did to Houston. You know, they played Houston twice. And Houston didn't get a fucking offensive touchdown in either game. If it wasn't for the punt return or the shank punt, that's how they got their 10 points last week. They couldn't get a first down. The Ravens are unbelievable, dude. You'll see.
Yeah, maybe Odell get his second ring too, you know?
Yeah. What you just said? Kadarius Toney is out. That's their other pass rusher, right?
Oh no, I mean I'm sorry, Odell Beckham.
No.
I guess he'll be getting his. If they win at all, he'll be getting.
Odell Beckham said this is
he might go down as a Hall of Fame.
Beckham said this is the best team he's ever played on, and it ain't even close. You know, and I believe it. Yeah.
Who's your team? Do you have a team? I mean, I see you got a Lakers shirt on. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm a diehard Laker fan, diehard Dodger fan. That's it. In the NFL, I don't have any real. I used to be a diehard Ram fan growing up, you know, because I was born in L.A. But then when they moved to St. Louis and then won the championship, and I had to watch St. Louis have a championship parade, I fucking despise the Rams more than any other team now. So, you know, so I really don't have any team. You know, I've hated the Raiders my whole life because growing up in L.A., I was a Ram fan. You know, so you hated the Raiders when they moved to L.A. But you know, I'm you know, because they're in Vegas, I somewhat have more interest in them than I ever did before. But I can't see myself ever becoming a diehard Raider fan. I haven't even been to one game yet. They've been here for 4 years. So
yeah, I'd like to go to one of their games. That stadium looks pretty sweet.
Yeah, well, I'm going. I plan on going to the Super Bowl. You know, unless I get destroyed in poker the next 2 weeks. You know, but you know, I'll pay $10,000. It's a once in a lifetime. But am I right? You know, if it's you know, Baltimore and Frisco, they might, like right now, tickets are like 35,000. The worst seats in the house are like 9,500. You know, but I think that's going to come down. Just like the when they had the F1 here, they couldn't give away tickets at the end. You know what I mean? They were going so. I think it's going to come down. So we'll see what happens.
I've been a Rams fan all my life, and I like the Lakers and Dodgers as well. Yeah. I mean, I even followed them, I guess, when they went to St. Louis. I was a kid, so. Mm-hmm. But I tell you, I think they got a really good running back in Kyrene Williams.
The Rams had the second youngest team in the NFL behind Green Bay, and both of those teams look like two of the best teams in the NFL at the end of the year. I mean, if Stafford looked like he did when they won the Super Bowl. He played unbelievable. He was
I put 100 on them to win it because before the playoffs.
Well, I don't blame you. I mean, look at they dismantled Detroit. How could Detroit win that game? It's impossible.
It was some missed calls there by the refs. I mean, even on the Rams side too, they didn't call that offsides. But I mean, it was a good game.
When you go up and down the field, and the other team couldn't get Detroit had 34 yards of offense in the second half, and they won the game.
Crazy.
And they won the game. You know,
it's insane.
I think Detroit can be stopped. Good defenses have stopped Detroit. I wouldn't be shocked if Frisco wins very big tomorrow. And I wouldn't be shocked if the Ravens win really big tomorrow at all. I really wouldn't. You know, I don't. If Detroit's to have any chance, they're going to have to put up 30. Can they put up 30 on Frisco? I don't think so. You know,
the thing with Goff, I've been a Rams fan. He can't throw beyond 25 yards, man. I mean, but he's really accurate.
Boy, he sure has looked accurate on some of these throws to these fucking.
We had the Brown. Oh yeah,
man. Yeah, Amon St. Brown is so good. Did you see he catches 200 balls a day off the machine.
Wow.
Off the machine, he practices 200 balls a day, and then he has a list of the 14 receivers that were drafted in front of him because he believes he's the best, and he might be. He's pretty fucking good, man.
Oh yeah, he definitely is. I think that'd be a good matchup too. Number one pick versus the last pick QBs. Yeah. First time ever that's happened. Yeah. NFC Championship.
You know, a guy in my chat wrote the Rams carved up this great Raven defense. Yeah, they did. The Rams passing offense was like the best in the league this year. They had with Cooper Kupp and the Puah guy. They were able to get separation. Like Kansas City does not have receivers that can get separation. You know?
Oh, yeah.
You know, this isn't a team that could get separation. The Rams had the number 1 or number 2 pass offense the last 7 weeks of the season. When they finished 6-1, their only loss was to the Ravens in overtime. You know, but you guys think, oh well, Patrick Mahomes. Nobody, but he's got receivers that can't get separation. He doesn't have Cooper Kupp or Puka Nakua or whatever the fuck his name is.
Yeah,
fuck, man, that's what people don't understand. I'm telling you, you'll see. They will not be able to. They will not be able to get receivers open. You'll see. I'm sure of it.
Yeah. Yeah, having a good run game like that with Kyrie Williams, I think that really opened up that.
It opened everything up. You know, Kyrie. See, that was the thing, right? So what did Detroit do? They shut down Williams, which I thought they would do. Just like I think they're going to shut McCaffrey down because they got a great run defense. But but Stafford was able to throw wild on him, and Purdy's going to do the same. You know. Like with Debo healthy and Ayuk both playing, they're going to have a field day, man. I'm telling you, if you really believe Purdy's not that good and McCaffrey then bet Detroit. I think Purdy's that good, and I think McCaffrey is going to get shut down, and I think the receivers, I think Ayuk and fucking Debo are going to go off. Because everybody
George
plays
Kittle too.
And Kittle, yeah. Everybody that plays Detroit gets lit up on the back end of the defense. So, I mean, look what the Ravens did to Detroit. They put up 33 on them. Look what the Ravens did. I mean, look what the Ravens did to fucking. The Ravens beat Miami 56-19.
Wow.
Miami's terrible. They were terrible. I said they were a fraud. Any team that can't beat good teams, winning teams, are frauds. You know.
Oh yeah.
We'll see.
I mean, this could be battle of the best tight ends in NFC too. I mean, you got Sam Laporta and George Kittle and these guys.
When people say, "Oh, the Steelers were inept, but they beat the Ravens," well, let's see. The Ravens led by 7 with the ball with 3 minutes to go, and Pittsburgh had a total of like 50 yards in offense, and Lamar throws a pick, and somehow and then they tie the game, and then I think he throws another. I think he threw like 2 picks in like the last 3 minutes for Pittsburgh to win 13-10 that game. But the Ravens, that was another one where the Ravens were like 99% to win that game, you know. And the other, you know, and they rested everybody last week. Doesn't matter, you know. But listen, you'll see what an all-time great team is tomorrow. I'm telling you, the Ravens are an all-time great team. I know it. I know.
I agree. I mean, that Isaiah Likely, he really turned it up when Mark Andrews got in.
Yeah, and Mark Andrews is he been activated to play tomorrow? I heard he was going to play.
I don't see him on the injury report.
I think he's going to play. Let me look it up.
Wow. Yeah, he's active. Yep.
Yeah. So they're like, oh, didn't he break his leg? No, he had one of those high ankle sprains, really bad one. You know, the ones that usually take like 8 weeks to heal. I mean, him being back, that changes everything for the Ravens. You know, he's playing. Yeah. I mean, I'm telling you, man, you'll see. I'm telling you, I'm so sure of it, man. You know, I have a lot of money on the Ravens to win the Super Bowl. If the Ravens win the Super Bowl, I win $26,000. If they lose tomorrow, I bet with Phil. This is before the Ravens crush Frisco in Frisco. But I got plus 850 on the Ravens to win the Super Bowl, and he got plus 550. Those were the numbers. So if Kansas City wins the Super Bowl, Phil wins 5,500. If the Ravens win the Super Bowl, I win 8,500. And I got 8.5 to 1 on them for 2K to win 17,000. So, you know, and the thing is normally in a spot like this, like last week, Phil also had Kansas City and I had the Bills, and I knew the Bills had all these injuries, so I bet 5,000 on Kansas City last week plus the points. You know, this week I want to double down on the Ravens. I mean, I think they're that good, you know. But we'll see, you know. the Patrick Mahomes thing is the only thing that has people thinking they got a chance, but they're not better except for quarterback. They're not better at any other position. Not one position on the field.
Yeah, I had to agree with you. You're right.
Yeah. Jones is a defensive edge rusher for Kansas City, but him and Roquan Smith are the same, right? I mean, they're about equal. You know, Roquan Smith is up for like defensive player of the year. So, you know, they just don't, except for quarterback, they're not better than the Ravens at any position. You know, 2 years ago, you could say Kelsey at tight end, but if you don't think Mark Andrews, if he's healthy tomorrow, isn't better than Kelsey's slow ass this year, you're crazy, man. Crazy.
Oh, yeah. He's a beast.
We'll see. I'm looking forward for the games, you know. I think it's a Frisco Ravens Super Bowl. I'm not going to fall for what the Detroit. Listen, if I don't bet the game, will I pull for Detroit? Sure, you know, because how could you not, you know? But Detroit. I mean, they should have lost to the Rams. They fucking 349 yards Baker last week. This Frisco, the only reason why they struggled last week was the rain. You know, Purdy's good, dude.
Yeah.
Listen, I mean, I think they're gonna win big, but listen, that Detroit coach is really good, and
I like that coach.
Shanahan gave away the 2016 Super Bowl. All he had to do is take 3 kneel downs and kick a field goal, and Brady never has a chance to come back. See, people forget about when Jones made the greatest catch in Super Bowl history to give him first down at the 20-yard line, and then all they had to do is run it up the middle 3 times to kick a field goal. Instead, they dropped back to pass. He said, we stay aggressive. Yeah, we stay aggressive. The game is over. You have a kicker, Bryant, that's like 90 for 90 in field goals. All you have to do is run it up the middle 3 times, kick a field goal. You're up by 10 with under 2 minutes, and the game's over. Instead, he drops back to pass. They get a holding penalty. They get a sack, and then they had to punt the ball, and you know the rest of the story. You know, and then Shanahan giving away the Super Bowl to Kansas City 2 years ago. Just give it away. Like Kansas City, you know, Mahomes has 2 Super Bowl wins. He could easily have none. You know, Tampa Bay crushed them. The Frisco was up by 10 with 8 minutes to go. Just gave away the game because Shanahan's fucking play calling was terrible. So, you know, I mean, this coach of Detroit, he might outcoach him. You know, he might have some tricks up his sleeve, and they're going to be going for it on a lot of 4th downs, and you know, they're playing with house money, you know, so. We'll see.
Yeah, that's true. And I think he actually outcoached Sean McVay. I mean, McVay.
He did. That's why they won.
I couldn't believe some of those calls, those timeouts in third quarter.
Unbelievable. And that's why the Rams lost that game. They dominated the game. He got outcoached. McVay made a bunch of mistakes. And I love this coach. I mean, I like him. I think he's a little too aggressive, but I just don't think they got the horses on the back end. I think Purdy's going to light them up. I think, honestly, I haven't bet it yet, but I'm going to probably bet $1,000 on Purdy over. I think it's 262 yards passing, because Detroit's run defense is really good. So Purdy's going to have to have a big game for them to win. And everybody else has played Detroit has had a big game. Why not? Why wouldn't he? Right?
Oh yeah. So, speaking of coaches, what do you think about Belichick? You think he'll go down as one of the greatest, or just a great hype since Brady left there and won a Super Bowl?
But I think it's insane. Okay? Let me ask you something. If the Patriots had a quarterback or an offensive line, or they didn't even need a quarterback, they needed a halfway decent quarterback. The Patriots lost 6 games that they could have won or should have won. You know, they scored like 10 points in 3 weeks. They're the only team in NFL history to not give up 10 points in 3 straight weeks and lose all 3 games. The fucking Patriots had a top 5 defense, and that's with them being on the field the entire fucking game. Think about if they had a fucking quarterback, or if they could even move the ball even a little bit, how many wins they would have had. I mean, I can name 6 games the Patriots should have won, and they ended up winning what? They ended up going 5-13, or, you know, or 6. Would they win 6, 5 or 6 games? Like they could have been an 11-win team, dude. I think You have the best defensive coach in history. He's had his team in the top 5 in defense every year. I just think they don't want a 3-year coach. 72 years old, coaches for 3 years. I mean, I still think he's one of the best, if not the best. I mean, look at Mac Jones' rookie year. They could have easily. He had a great, but he regressed, and his biggest problem is he drafted too many. He was all about defense. He just thought, oh, we could get a receiver in the 4th round. We could get a receiver in the 5th round. We could get an offensive. You know what I'm saying? And his offensive line sucked, and he had no quarterback or receivers. So, but that's a top 5 defense every fucking year. And when you coach a top 5 defense, you always have a chance. So.
Jones looked good in college, but as soon as he played for the Patriots, it was like he just kind of.
Well, I mean, look at the games he gave away. Gave away. Like he missed that one guy when they benched him when he had the wide open touchdown and he underthrows him by 10 yards. Like I think Jones just needs a new place to be. I think he lost his confidence, and he just needs a new start because you can't be rookie of the year and play that great and then fall off a cliff. You fall off a cliff because you lose confidence, and you don't have receivers, you don't have running backs. Their offensive line was terrible. He gets sacked left and right. So, we'll see.
Yeah, I agree.
Listen, you need an offensive line, dude. The fucking Kansas City offensive line has been terrible all year. Forget what you saw the last 2 weeks. The other team, when you're missing all your defensive backs, and the other team's missing their defensive backs, is 7 defensive player, they have no pressure. Okay, the fucking Ravens are going to get pressure on fucking Mahomes tomorrow. You can mark that down. They got no offensive line. What do you think? He ran for his life all fucking year, and all of a sudden, oh, it's a miracle. The offensive line's fixed, and the receivers can get separation now. No, they did it against fucking 2 teams missing half their defense. Man, they ain't gonna do it again. You'll see. If I'm wrong, I'll be the first to admit it. But they have a great defense. So can they win the game 16-13 or 17-14 and be the 2018 Patriots that somehow won a ring with no offense? It's possible, But if you think Kansas City's going to cover tomorrow or win, it's the easiest parlay in history. You just parlay Kansas City and under. There is 0 chance that the fucking Kansas City wins that game in an over game. 0. Or even covers. If that game goes over, they get killed. They could only win that game 20-17, 17-14, fucking 19-16. That's the only way they could win that game. The only way.
Yeah, that's true.
But they could listen. They could be the 2018 Patriots and go in it with the one that won in the Arrowhead and won 13-10. Then they won the Super Bowl 13-6. Their defense is really good.
That was a horrible Super Bowl. That was against the Rams.
Yeah.
2 times Brady beat the Rams. Yeah. Man.
Their defense is really good, but their run defense isn't very good. I mean, Buffalo fucking shellacked it last week. The only reason why Buffalo lost, they went away. They were predictable. They ran the ball on first down, then they passed it 2nd and 3rd. They're like, oh, we lost a yard. Oh, we only gained a yard. Their fucking offensive coordinator's an idiot for fucking the Bills. So ridiculous. But trust me, man. I know the Ravens are this good. You'll see.
Well, it could be a hardball kind of season, I mean, Michigan won one out. Now the Ravens.
I agree. All right, man. I got to go play some poker. Have a good weekend.
All right,
man.
buddy.
Thanks for calling.
Hey, you too, man. It's good talking to you, Mike. Take care, buddy.
Later. All right, guys, man. So you got my pick. I bet under Detroit 22. I laid 2.5 for the Ravens first half. They're 3 now. They're 14-5 first half on the season by outscoring opponents by 6 points a game. And I'm going to probably just tease Baltimore and for $1,000 and Frisco. I think it's Baltimore and Frisco in the Super Bowl. I just don't want to see Kansas. If Kansas City wins this fucking game and I'm wrong, I'm never going to hear the end of it from Phil or anybody else. And I know I'm not wrong. I know what I've seen all year. Teams are who they say they are. When you watch a team all year, you have 18 games to watch a team. You know what a team is. You don't all of a sudden turn it on, okay? They're not going to all of a sudden fix their offensive line, and they're not all of a sudden going to get separation. So I'll see you all next week, man. Thanks for tuning in.
The Mouthpiece.